Okay, Team Clark here. I'm going to show you what I got done. So far, I've got the intake back in. I got the distributor setting in, but it's not going in. And it's exactly where it was when I pulled it. So I think I got the oil pump shaft off when I pulled the distributor out. When I pulled the distributor out, I must have turned it just a little bit somehow. So I've got to fix that. That little brass plug right there is, when I set that distributor down in there, it's going to hit the vacuum advance. So I've got to change that. I've got two flush mounted ones I'm going to put back there. I'm going to go ahead and change that one too. And so they'll be the same. Anyway, and my little brace for my transmission dipstick tube. It may go back in there if I change that brass piece, because it was hitting that brass piece earlier and I couldn't put it. It goes in that bolt right there, right in front of the brass piece. Anyway, it was just a little something I added to the car to make it look a little nicer. Anyway, I got to do a few things. Let's see. Oh yeah, the bolts. Evidently, this intake is a little thinner on the mounting surface in places, like down in here on the side where beside the carburetor on each side, and there was a couple of other bolts that were a little bit too long. Don't know why, because on the other intake they wasn't like that. So I had to go out to the shop and hunt up some shorter stainless steel bolts to put in the intake, so I could get it torqued down the way it was supposed to be. But anyway, I got a few, there's a few things here and there that needs fixed. On this nipple, right here on the intake that goes from the intake to the water pump, it's a 5/8, all right? My hoses are 5/8. Well, evidently, the one in the water pump is 3/4. And I don't like the way it looks, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to order me another 5/8, so I can put a 5/8 hose on it instead of trying to stretch that 5/8 to a 3/4, and it don't look good and it don't fit good. So I'm going to change that. I might even order me a 90-degree nipple to see if that'll work on it. I mean, can't hurt anything, can it? Anyway, also I put a new heat sensor in the intake, and this sensor is supposed to be for a 1956 Chevrolet. I bought a sensor and put in the other intake that didn't even work on didn't make my heat gauge work in my dash. And I got to researching it, and everybody said it won't work unless you have the right sending unit. So there's the right sending unit. Let's see if it works. If it don't work, then there's something else wrong. Either the gauge is bad, which I've done changed the gauge once. So we'll see how that works out. Also, I broke a wire off back there, my coil wire that plugs into my coil. Broke one of them off when I was taking the distributor cap out, so I had to repair that. You can't see it. It's little pink wire laying back in there. You can kind of see it. Anyway, I had to repair that. There's several things. The alternator bracket, right there, where it bolts to the front of there's the bolt right down in there. See that skint place on my new intake? Well, it appears as though when they made this intake, they didn't leave enough clearance for a socket to go on the bolt. And so that socket was real tight, going down in there to tighten that thing up. But it's in there and it's tight. It's just, and I had to modify my alternator bracket as well, because it was too long on the side that hits the intake. the bolt wouldn't go in because it wasn't lining up right. Well, I got that done. Well, then my adjuster bolt on my alternator, you can see it down in there. It's stripped. The alternator is stripped. The threads are stripped out of it. So I had to go find a longer bolt, which happens a little bit too long, but that's what I had. It's stainless, and I put a lock nut on it. Neoprene, I guess you say, nut. So I got that on there. And I wish Chevrolet would make these alternators with inserts, metal inserts or something, to where they wouldn't strip out like they do. And it ain't that I tightened it too tight. It's just I've took it off and on 2 or 3 times, and it seems like if you take them off and on 2 or 3 times, them threads get weak and they won't tighten back up. So there you go there. I've got that fixed back together. I'm real happy with my intake. It looks really good. My distributor, did I tell you my distributor will not go back down in on the intake yet. I think I messed it up when I pulled the distributor out. I moved the oil shaft. I probably told you earlier. Anyway, so we're going to fix all that. That's about it, I guess, for now. I'm going to go in here and order me some new 5/8 nipples to change that hose right there. And I guess I'm going to call it a night. It's about 9:30. It's time to go in and rest. I've been working on it probably since 11 o'clock today. And running into all those little issues. And them little issues adds up to time when you got to go hunt parts and you got to figure out how to make things work with a different intake. And it seemed to me like the intakes should be the same thickness. I was looking at it and it don't look no different. But the bolts would not bottom. They were bottoming out. They wouldn't tighten up and torque down right. So I had to change them. But anyway, we're on our way back together. And we'll send you out another video when I get closer to being done, and then I'll probably try to do one with it running again. So I think I'm going to leave it right here for now, and I appreciate all you guys watching, subscribing. Please send me a comment, share it with your friends. Comments, good, bad, it don't matter to me. I like to see comments, read comments, and I know I'm really bad about not responding to the comments. I'm going to have to make a habit of doing that. I get so busy, I forget about it. But anyway, you guys have a good, safe weekend, and we'll catch you on the next video later.